Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Deb Degraaf with Degraaf Interiors. Deb, how you doing?
Doing excellent. How about you, sir?
I'm good. I've caught you on the road. Thanks for spending time with our listeners. Last time we talked, I was almost the bottom of the shutdown in Grand Rapids. You were telling me a few minutes ago that the business is booming. Tell us a little bit more about that, would you?
Yeah, it has been incredible. Somewhat what I anticipated back when we talked about reopening and getting back to it. We have had a flood of customers, obviously, that needed things done during the time we were closed. And then those that have money that was supposed to be spent on vacations that they weren't able to have, that now they're putting into their floor covering, countertops, ceramic tile. We're just, a plethora of customers has been coming in the door, and we're very blessed for that, for sure. There are some challenges that have gone along with that, with supply of product from manufacturers across the board. We're working through that. And then installation is, of course, still a hot point for us, and we're booked out over a month now in all surfaces and just doing the best we can to meet the demand of the customers that are returning to our stores.
Well, this is great news. Now, some retailers are telling me that traffic is down, but everybody that comes in is buying. But talking to you, it sounds like you've got traffic.
One thing I will say is our closing rate is, in addition to the extra people that seem to be coming through the door, our closing rate is gone up a fair number of percentage points. And I think that's simply because people are trying to still remain safe, and the more they go out, the more they have to wear their masks and deal with all of that. So I think they feel good about where they visited and feel like they're being well taken care of, and that we're going to be taking care of them and care for their safety and well-being. I think they're ready to spend the money in that first stop that they went and looked.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know this is somewhat of a crystal ball question, but the concern is that this is pent-up demand because you weren't there to help them. They were looking at their ugly floors, and now you're there, so they're coming in. Is this going to last 60 days, or is this just going to be a shift? And the reason it would be a shift is because now people want to spend money on their home.
I think we have a little bit of both. I think there's pent-up demand, and I think we have a lot of funds or we're earmarked to spend on spring break or summer vacations that unfortunately are not coming to fruition because of the still looming threat of COVID out there. Just recently, again, some states have closed restaurants and bars and venues, and so I think people are going to continue to be conservative in booking vacations. And those funds are now being used where they are having to stay, and that's at home. Obviously, the stimulus money that people received, there's many people that at least I know of that didn't need that to survive, but are able to use that and put it back into the economy and the market and buy, in addition to flooring, there's vehicles and TVs and boats and all sorts of things that people can't keep in stock right now.
Are you hearing any stories from a consumer friend or two that are telling you anything you can share with the audience around, why they're doing this now?
Consumer confidence is actually, despite everything that's going on, is actually good right now. And so I think that's why they're wanting to make these purchases and improve the assets that they have.
How long have you been open?
We've been open just over a month now, and it's been strong since the day we opened our doors. I can't complain. Our Saturday traffic has been huge, and even the Mondays and Tuesdays, which are usually lower traffic days for us, have been high during the normal workday.
Is there a chance that your 2020 could be better than your 2019?
There is a possibility of that. We do have some makeup to do, but if June is any indication, we're well on our way.
You're open. You don't force people to have appointments. You're just come on in, right?
Correct. Yeah, we started by appointment only. We did that for a week, and we had a number of appointments, and now we just have our standard hours, and they're back to the regular hours.
I know one of your roles, Deb, is you're also the chair of the WFCA. What sense do you get? Are you an anomaly in Grand Rapids, Michigan, or are you hearing this across the board?
No, from what I've heard, I think that there's a lot of business in Western Michigan currently. I'm hearing that from our reps, a couple of our manufacturer reps that are just having and did have an amazing June. So I know that that's coming from more than just our few locations that we have. I think it's across the board.
Okay, but still the read you're giving us is from Michigan.
I've heard that overall manufacturers in general have seen quite a June in terms of sales, but I did hear that Michigan and our surrounding area was a big contributor to that.
All right. Let me ask you one other question. There's been a lot of news down in Northwest Georgia about all these companies that are coming from China to produce rigid LVT. What's your take on all that?
I think that the market here is large for it. I think that there's a huge demand for it, and I honestly feel that there's going to be a lot that flood into the market. There's going to be some that make it, but many more that do not. And I think the wave is large enough right now that a lot of people are going to ride it for as long as they can, and as retailers, we just have to be diligent about vetting those that we put on our floor and be very cautious to not flood our floor and confuse our consumers that are coming in the door.
That's right, because clutters, a lot of times the consumer will leave because there was just too many choices, right?
Yes, I think consumers like to feel like they're smart and in control when they come in our store, and if they come in and the sense of overwhelming doom because there's way too many selection, I think we might scare them away, so we have to be careful.
The mix of what you're selling now, post-shutdown, is it any different than what you were selling before?
It actually, strangely enough, we're selling a lot of carpet.
How about that?
And I think that's because carpet can ugly out, and that was the thing that people were staring at the most when they were stuck inside, and it just uglied out on them. I think that that's a very tangible thing to look at and say this needs to be replaced, and we're doing a lot of carpet right now.
Do you sell better in goods when it comes to carpet?
Yes, our average square foot price is higher than the national average, for sure.
All right, Deb. Well, I appreciate you giving us an update. Again, been talking to Deb Degraaf, a co-owner of Degraaf Interiors in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.